Ivanti is back in the crosshairs again. CISA just added a critical code injection flaw in their Endpoint Manager Mobile to the KEV list, and it allows for full, unauthenticated remote takeover.
I'm Morgan, and that's Alex. It feels like we're starting every other week with an Ivanti headline lately. Let's break it down.
It really does. This latest one is CVE 2026-1281. It's a code injection vulnerability in Ivanti Endpoint Manager Mobile, or EPMM. The severity is sitting at a 9.8 out of 10 because an attacker doesn't need a password or any kind of special access to exploit it. They can just execute code remotely and essentially own the server.
Wait, EPMM. Wasn't that the same product that had those massive issues back in 2023? I remember the Norwegian government getting hit because of a 0-day in that exact same mobile management platform.
Exactly the same product line. It's a high-value target because these servers sit on the edge of the network to manage mobile devices, so they're exposed to the internet by design. When CISA adds something to the known exploited vulnerabilities list, it means they're seeing it used in the wild right now. If you're running EPMM, you need to look at the advisory Ivanti put out for CVE 2026-1281 and a secondary one, CVE 2026-1340, immediately.
It's a tough spot for admins. You can't just turn off mobile management, but these edge devices are becoming the primary way in for threat actors. Speaking of owning the environment, did you see the report on the Eclipse Thea website repository? This one is a perfect 10 on the severity scale.
Yeah, CVE 2026-1699. This is a fascinating look at how modern development pipelines can be turned against themselves. It involves a GitHub Actions workflow called preview.yml. Basically, it used a trigger that allowed untrusted code from pull requests to execute in a privileged environment.
Right, and because it had contents right and packages right permissions, an attacker could have theoretically swapped out legitimate packages for malicious ones or exfiltrated repository secrets. It's that classic supply chain move. Hit the tools the developers use to reach everyone else.
Exactly. If you can poison the build process, you don't need to hack the end users. They'll just download your malware as an update. It's a reminder that your CI/CD pipelines need just as much security auditing as your production code.
And while we're on the subject of remote execution, we should mention Crafty Controller. This is CVE 2026-0963. It's a 9.9 severity flaw in their File Operations API.
This one is a path traversal issue. An authenticated attacker can use it to tamper with files or get remote code execution. Now, it does require authentication, which is why it's a 9.9 and not a 10. But in many environments, getting basic user credentials isn't exactly a high bar for a determined attacker.
It's that input neutralization problem again. If the API doesn't properly clean the file paths being requested, the attacker just walks right out of the intended directory and starts touching things they shouldn't. It feels like we're still fighting the same basic bugs from 20 years ago.
We are, just in newer, more complex wrappers. But moving away from specific patches, there's some significant threat intel coming out of Asia right now. Cisco Talos is tracking a China-linked group they're calling UAT 8099.
UAT 8099. And they're targeting IIS servers, right? Microsoft's web server? I saw they were focusing heavily on Thailand and Vietnam.
That's the one. They're using something called bad IIS malware. What's interesting here isn't just that they're breaking in, but what they're doing once they're inside. It's SEO malware.
SEO malware? So they're not just stealing data, they're hijacking the site's search engine ranking?
Precisely. They manipulate the server to redirect traffic or boost the rankings of other malicious sites. It's a subtle way to use a compromised server's reputation to spread further or monetize traffic without the owner immediately noticing that their data has been swiped. It's been active since late 2025 and into early this year.
That's a long time to be sitting on a server. It reminds me of how cryptojackers operate. Stay quiet, use the resources, don't break anything obvious. Speaking of crypto, the numbers for 2025 just came in, and they are, well, Staggering.
$158 billion. That is the record for illicit funds hitting crypto wallets last year. To put that in perspective, it was $64 billion in 2024. We've more than doubled the amount of illegal money flowing through the blockchain in a single year.
It completely reverses that 3-year downward trend we were seeing. I wonder how much of that is the surge in high-value ransomware payments we've been tracking. When you see groups like Lockbit or Black Cat demanding tens of millions at a time, it adds up fast.
It's definitely a factor. And while the criminals are getting richer, the tech giants are trying to close the oldest doors. Microsoft finally announced they're going to disable NTLM by default in future Windows releases.
Finally! NTLM is, 30 years old now? It's been the backbone of relay attacks for as long as I can remember. Every time we talk about pass the hash or identity theft inside a network, NTLM is usually the culprit.
It's a legacy protocol that just won't die because of backward compatibility. But Microsoft is drawing a line in the sand. It's going to break some very old setups, but from a security standpoint, it's a massive win. It's one less tool in the lateral movement toolbox for attackers.
Speaking of Microsoft, they also pushed out a fix for that Outlook bug that was blocking people from opening encrypted emails. Apparently, a recent update broke the classic Outlook's ability to handle them. So if you've been locked out of your secure comms, check for an update.
And we should probably do a quick lightning round of the weird news this week. Google is settling a lawsuit for $68 million over some privacy issues. And there's a report that the CISA chief had a bit of a ChatGPT leak. Nothing classified, but definitely an oops moment for the person leading the nation's cyber defense.
It happens to the best of us, I guess. Also, a new player entered the field. AZ just launched out of stealth with over $2 million in seed funding. They're building an AI-assisted platform for vulnerability management, which, given the sheer volume of CVEs we've covered today, sounds like something the industry desperately needs.
If it helps prioritize things like that Ivanti flaw, I'm all for it. That's the priority for today. If you have Ivanti Endpoint Manager Mobile, patch CVE 2026-1281 before the end of the day. CISA doesn't put things on the KEV list for fun.
Your daily AI-powered security briefing. If this saved you time, subscribe. We're here every morning.
Stay patched, stay paranoid.